Hi there, this is the beach bum Astrologer. Increasingly not near the beach in some of these little releases. I've actually been spending the last few days in Walsingham in North Norfolk. Walsingham is a very famous shrine. Religious pilgrims come to this place to worship. Not just Anglicans, but Roman Catholics too. And also be fair to say that there's quite a strong ecumenical element to this place. It's a shrine of immense energy. I feel that very strongly. And it's always the same. You spend like 3 or 4 days here, and on the last day, just as you're starting to sleep well and settling in, you have to go. So today we're leaving Walsingham. Walsingham. It's very famous for lots of different reasons. It was more or less made famous by somebody called Lady Richaldis back in, I think, the 11th century, 12th century. She claimed to experience visions with the Virgin Mary, who supposedly, in some kind of state, took her to Nazareth and showed her the place where Jesus was born and raised. And that inspired her. She was given instructions how to build the Holy House. So there's a strong, almost paranormal element to this, visions and things like that. Henry VIII comes along. He used to stay here, actually. He's got an apartment in Richelda's house. Well, he did. It is said that sometimes his ghost roams about, but actually, he contributed to the destruction of the old Walsingham Shrine, Our Lady of the Shrine at Walsingham. And it was about 300 years later that then it got rebuilt. Of course, Henry VIII was only interested in plundering the various religious Catholic sites at that time for the money, and also to underscore his new power as head of the church. What's an astrologer doing here? Well, why not? That's my attitude. The documentary that's been made about me, which will be out soon, will explore more the relationship between church and astrology. But I'm not here to really promote anything today. It's more to say that, as ever, there's this immersion in symbolism. It's amazing, really. And I was looking at my chart. It's interesting because in my natal chart, I've got Saturn square moon, which traditionally is associated with escapist tendencies. It can express itself in addictions. Some people who know me may know what I mean by that. But in another sense, it opens you up to religious experiences, especially with my moon in Pisces. But I just noticed today, I was reminded that transiting Saturn is actually sitting on my moon at the moment. And that also has great significance. In the sense that it can point to emotional restrictions. But in another sense, it focuses on matters of spirituality and sort of makes them concrete in a sense. So the timing is rather exquisite in my chart. So back to Lancing soon, lots to do. And I've decided to return to Walsingham next year. I've even tempted to come on my own. Because without an itinerary, you don't know what you're going to end up doing. And that's the great thing. You come here and you can attend the masses. I've been attending the Anglican Shrine Church, which contains the Holy House, which was supposedly modelled on Christ's birth home. And we visited the Basilica, which is about a mile away. It's a mile walk, which is the Catholic shrine. And that was rather beautiful as well. At times, the services of the Anglican and Catholic seem very similar. We had the Assumption service the other day, and that was really high church. A lot of Latin. Being a rebel, if I've not been taught a language, I'm not going to speak it, even if it's in the text, in the liturgy. So I just sat there. Stood there mute, refusing to speak words whose meaning I do not know. Actually, I do know them, because it's the Nicene Creed, but in Latin. So already we have a little controversy. Have a look around, it's so beautiful, isn't it? Very quiet gardens. Soon we'll have breakfast, and then we'll have our final bye-byes, all that. High point for me was being one of I was going to say litter bearers, that's probably not right, but one of the bearers of the Virgin Mary. a statue of the Virgin Mary. And 4 of us carried it from St. Mary's Anglican Church, and we carried it to the Catholic Church. I think it's called something of the Annunciation. Beautiful modern church. Trouble is, they didn't remember to put out the trestle, which is rather annoying. We had to rest this very heavy Virgin Mary on our shoulders instead. So we must have held that thing for nearly an hour. But my shoulder's fine. And we ended up here in the gardens of the Anglican Shrine Church. And all I can hear right now is the fluttering and cooing of pigeons. Feathers everywhere. Anyone would think a cat had been unleashed. Wishing you well, sending you my blessings for what they're worth. And normal service will be resuming soon. I did mention a bit of astrology, didn't I? Take care.